Hello, and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is the 21st of November 2025, and I'm happy to be hopping on a live stream today to talk about crypto and the markets and let you guys know what I'm seeing. A lot of fear, a lot of people calling for bear markets, a lot of people saying, hey, crypto's done, but you guys, crypto is here to stay. I am completely confident that crypto is not going anywhere, that the markets are here to stay. The technology has real world value. It has a real value proposition for this world, and that is not going anywhere. And also, a lot of people are pretty scared right now. If you go check out the Fear and Greed Index, we are at extreme fear. In fact, some Fear and Greed Index indicators, because there's a couple of them, are showing that we're at levels that are even below what we were at the very bottom after the FTX crash. So this is certainly not a point where people are greedy, which should tell you a little bit about the general sentiment of the market and what the majority of people are doing right here, which is flipping bearish into a bear market. I've heard lots of people on YouTube say and on X say that the crypto markets are topping out. I've heard people say that there's nobody calling for a bear market. But then if I go on to YouTube and I go list all of the 30, 40 crypto people that I follow on YouTube that I'm subscribed to, I seriously cannot find a single one except for maybe Altcoin Daily that is actually bullish right now on the market. So everybody is bearish. The majority of people are bearish in this market, which is interesting to me because they're all saying that everybody's bullish. And I'm like, well, you guys, there's not very many bulls right now in the crypto markets. There's very few people. So when I go to YouTube and I see 30 YouTube channels that are all big accounts that I follow, all of them, and every single one of them is calling for a crypto bear market, and they're all saying that everybody's bullish, I think, are you guys even looking at yourselves? Are you even looking at what the actual data of the market and determining what people are? Because right now the sentiment is extreme fear. Everybody's bearish, not bullish, and it blows my mind that they're so confidently trying to say that it's the other way around. Professor, what is up, my friend Professor K? Hey, good to see you too. Thank you for tuning in. Boomy says bear market ? Wave with a hug. Well, Boomy, like I was just talking about, most people are pretty bearish right now. If I go to YouTube, and I'm not kidding, I did this last night just to kind of gauge sentiment. I went to, into the cryptoverse. I went to all of these big accounts, all these big YouTubers that are pretty popular crypto YouTubers. And every single one of them, except for Altcoin Daily, was bearish. And they were all saying that everybody's bullish. And I'm like, are you guys looking at yourselves right now? Have you even went and looked at other people's channels? Because every single one of you is saying that this market is bearish. But then you're saying that everybody's saying it's bullish. And that's extremely inconsistent. Future Dream K 2K17 says, hey Dallin, bro, following you since 2017, connected with you in Discord as well. Looking for your analysis to get some hope for my bags or the bull run. Yeah, I saw your message on Discord. Thank you for tuning in today, again, like you did the other day. And I appreciate you being a long-term viewer and supporter of this channel. Lucas says, Crapto, who else is losing tons of money? If anybody held through this, you're down right now. It doesn't matter who you are. Most people are going to be down in the crypto markets in the short term. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I've been steadily making cryptocurrency content through this entire period right here in the markets. And throughout this, actually, I've been making crypto content steadily since 2016 when I started uploading once a week and had first made my YouTube channel. But you guys know that we rode through this whole move. I mean, we did sell right here. We sold some crypto right here. We took profits before the drop from 73 down. But it really pays to be a holder in this market, because when crypto was up here at 126,000, 125,000 per coin on Bitcoin, all of that holding and all of that resilience through the corrections, through the volatility, was really paying off. And yeah, in the short term, we're pretty down on Bitcoin right now, but just that willingness to be able to hold through the ups and the downs. It's like a good relationship, you don't want to marry somebody or be in a relationship or whatever with somebody unless you're willing to go through the ups and the downs. And that's the same way that you should look at the crypto markets. You should be thinking, well, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not going to let people's fear, I'm not going to let the FUD, the terrifying corrections that can happen in this market, terrify me out of the market, even though it may be very tempting to do so. Let's pull up some indicators on Bitcoin and talk a little bit about what's happening from a technical perspective instead of just, purely emotion. Because from an emotion perspective, you guys, this is a time to be excited about crypto, not fearful. I'll be 100% honest with you. The most excited I've been about crypto in the past X amount of years, especially since our bottom down here, was actually right here on Bitcoin at 50K. I was waking up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, looking at charts, literally just so excited about crypto. Again, right here, when Bitcoin fell from 111 down to 74, extremely excited about crypto during this period. When I get nervous, when I start to get a little bit nervous feeling and like less excited about crypto is actually like this. That's when the market's going up and we're pumping really hard. That's when I'm a little bit more like on edge, this is kind of scary. But right now when the market's down like it is right now at 82,000 per coin, this kind of stuff excites me. This kind of stuff gets me excited. So let's talk about the technicals. From an emotional perspective, I am hyped right now. I'm so excited about crypto. I've never been more excited about Bitcoin and crypto and the markets as a whole as I am today. Which may be contrary to what most people are thinking, but from a logical, technical perspective and not just a purely emotional perspective or psychological perspective, check out what's happening on Bitcoin. We have not been this oversold on Bitcoin since right here. Since 28,000 per coin, 25,000 per coin down here, when we finally peaked down at 19 on the RSI right here. Came all the way down to that 19 level on the RSI. We haven't been this oversold on Bitcoin for 2 years. So that's, this is the simplicity of the market, that you really don't have to overcomplicate this market. It is way simpler than you think it is. Use basic indicators, the fear and greed index, the RSI, the MACD. Sometimes I will pull out the RSI. I usually don't. Most of the time I'm using the MACD. But even if we're only using the MACD, we haven't been this oversold on the MACD for like forever. It's been 2021, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 years. In fact, we haven't been this oversold on the MACD on the daily, ever. Look at this. If we look at the MACD back over here, this was negative 1,400 on the MACD right here. We've never been this oversold on the MACD on the daily. Ever. Unless maybe if we go over to the Bitcoin. And if you guys don't know what oversold means, oversold basically means that the market is officially, people are panicking. It's undervalued. It needs to bounce. It needs to have a bullish move. If the market is heavily oversold, that's a really good entry That's where you want to be buying into the market. So if you don't have that basic understanding of what oversold, overbought means, if you're heavily, heavily oversold, it's a good opportunity to be picking up that asset, whatever it is. And in the case of Bitcoin, if we go over to the Bitcoin index here, which pulls up all of the history going all the way back to Bitcoin's inception in 2009, right? When Bitcoin was first released and created and everything. When it was worth $0. And if you look at Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin has never been this oversold on the MACD. Do you see this line right here? Do you see on the chart this right here? This blue line and this orange line? We have never been negative 5,500 on the MACD ever. So from a technical perspective, Bitcoin right now is the most oversold it has ever been, ever on the MACD. That tells you how irrational people are going to be acting right now. 95+% of this market is going to be freaking out and completely losing all confidence and faith in the market. Crypto, who else is losing tons of money? You know, you guys don't lose money until you sell. That's why it's called an unrealized loss. If you guys want to screw yourself up and lose money, then sell your crypto. Make it a realized loss. But if you want to keep your head on straight and actually make some money in this damn market, then you can't be letting this market give you a realized loss. If you're down in the market, don't sell. Otherwise, you'll take your unrealized loss and you'll make it a realized loss. And you'll actually solidify your loss. But if you hold on to the market, look at Bitcoin historically. Has Bitcoin ever not recovered from a correction? No, it's recovered from every single correction that it has ever made since 2009. So you guys are not losing money until you press that stupid sell button in a big panic selling event where everybody else is pressing that stupid sell button and they're all freaking out and selling their crypto. You guys are not losing money until you lose money. It's an unrealized loss. You know, if you are the type of person that holds on to the market, you could have bought Bitcoin at the very top right here at $33. You could have lost 95% of your portfolio in an unrealized loss and then came out with millions of dollars in profit if you would have held on. When Bitcoin rallied all the way up to first 1,100, then 20,000, then 69,000, then 126,000 per coin. You could have bought the top of every single cycle up until this point, and if you would have held on, you would be in profit right now. You literally, if you were the dumbest Deegan, just total gambler, totally emotional on the upside, but you have the resilience to hold on through the downside, you could have bought every single top up until this point, and you would be in the green. You'd be up on your position. A total idiot FOMO buying every top would be up if he didn't sell. That's what I mean by an unrealized loss. And the more that you subject yourself to realized or unrealized losses in the sense of you're actually realizing that loss versus holding on through that bear market, the more you're going to lose in this market. You have no idea. You know how many people gave up on crypto on the bottom right here, 3K per Bitcoin? Everybody gave up on crypto at 3K per Bitcoin. Then everybody gave up again right here at 16K per coin. And by the way, the altcoin markets have been in a multi-year bear market. Most altcoins, you know, My channel especially grows during altcoin bull markets. It doesn't do as good during the Bitcoin bull market phase. And altcoins, by the way, so for me, it's like this has been a really long waiting period for me and my YouTube channel. I've grown, actually, the past 2 years, my YouTube channel has grown quite a bit during the Bitcoin run up here. It's grown quite a bit, but my channel especially grows during periods of altcoin bull market where altcoins are going nuts and there's total mania in the altcoins. Why? Because retail investors are making a lot of money during those periods of time. And to be honest with you, retail investors have not been making very much money through this period right here. Not as much as they did in 2017 and not as much as they did in 2021. So the average, just normal Joe Blow down the road hasn't been doing as good during this cycle as they did during the last two cycles. So what's my point in all of this? Well, my point in all of this is that you guys, Bitcoin will recover. Bitcoin will recover. Altcoins have been in a bear market pretty much since 2021. Ethereum saw a little bit of strength. XRP, Zcash finally bottomed out after a massive multi-year bear market. But most of the altcoins haven't even seen a run yet in this market. And that's not a reason to say that they won't. In fact, if anything, that's a reason to say that there's still juice left in this market for the upside. There's still hope in Bitcoin and in especially the altcoin markets for a lot of profit. Go check out Bitcoin dominance right now. This thing looks terrible. Bitcoin dominance is rejecting after it broke bearish out of a falling wedge. It's rejecting off the top of this wedge now, or the bottom of this wedge, came up and hit the bottom of the wedge. This right here is a massive sell signal on Bitcoin dominance, which, by the way, happens during alt season. This is what happened in 2017. This is what happened in 2021. We had a massive crash in Bitcoin dominance, and that crash in Bitcoin dominance is what led to the most profitable phases ever. I mean, 2017 was insane for me. I actually wasn't, even though I was doing crypto in 2021, I was kind of trying to do like 3 things at once. So 2021 wasn't as profitable for me personally. It was more profitable for my buddy DIY Investing, who made millions during 2021. But 2017 was the most profitable year for me. If I would have been more focused on my channel, more locked in during 2021, I probably would have made equals what my friend made during that period of time. But you live and learn, right? I didn't realize what I had right underneath my feet, to be honest with you, with my YouTube channel and crypto and stuff at that time like I do now. But this is set up to happen again. We're set up to have another big altcoin bull market. The Bitcoin dominance, this is the most obvious bullish thing for altcoins that I have seen in years. The fact that we broke bearish out of a rising wedge pattern, came up and tested the bottom of that wedge, and now we're rejecting off of that. That is so bullish for the altcoin markets. You have no idea how ridiculously bullish that is for altcoins. Let's see. Lots of influencers mentioned money would transfer from gold to Bitcoin, but it seems it never fell through. It takes time, for these things to happen. One of the things that I'm focused on about Bitcoin right now is the fact that Bitcoin might be crashing, but Bitcoin dominance is also looking bearish right now. So this tells me, what are the big players? What are big institutions? What are whales doing? What are the people that move the market? What are these guys doing? That's a question that you should ask yourself. And the answer to this question of what are the whales doing is very, very simple. They're selling their Bitcoin for altcoins. You can see it in the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's the same type of vibe, same type of energy, if you want to use that word instead, as what we saw right here before the 2021 bull market on altcoins, where altcoins went nuts, where Elon Musk shilled Dogecoin, where we had that big parabolic run. We made a bunch of money. Still made good money during this period of time, even though I wasn't as focused on my channel and stuff. That period of time right here in 2021 is what we're set up to do all over again in this market. So that tells me the big whales are taking their Bitcoin, they're dumping their Bitcoin for altcoins. It's in the chart. And by the way, gold, yeah, I think gold can keep going up. I'm not a big gold bear, but we did just get a doji candle right here, followed by a red candle. So if this candle right here on the 15-day candlesticks, if this candlestick closes bearish here on gold, then we could see a short-term correction, and that prophecy that now everybody forgot about because Bitcoin dropped and they're all bearish now, of people selling their gold to buy more crypto. If this candle closes bearish after a doji candle and a profit-taking candle right here, gold could easily see a short-term correction right here and reaccumulate before likely pushing higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see gold keep pushing in its trend here before it finally tops out. These trends, you guys, the thing with markets, you have to think about markets like physics, okay? This is science. This isn't just a joke. The markets move because of law and principle. Nothing in the universe acts outside of law. The entire universe works based on law and principle. And you can see this because gravity is a perfect example of a universal law that everybody's subjected to. Nobody's above gravity. If anything, you can use other laws to kind of work around gravity. Like, an airplane uses wind resistance to create lift. So an airplane can kind of use higher laws to work around gravity, but it's still subjected to gravity. It's just using higher laws to overcome the lower laws, right? So everything in the entire universe is based on law and principle, including these markets. There's no exception in trading and investing. And you have to think about these markets like physics. Once the ball starts rolling, this is why the trend is your friend. Once the ball starts rolling, yes, there will be corrections. There will be days in the market when you feel like the market is never going to recover, where you feel like the market is done. It's over. It's seeing a correction. This is it. Today could be one of those days for you. You might be feeling those exact feelings right now. But the trend is your friend. And once the ball starts rolling, you have to understand it will go way higher than what most people think. And once it starts going down, for real, not just a correction, but once it really starts going down, it will go a lot lower than what most people think, too. So that's the psychology you got to have in these markets. Gold is no exception. We could easily see a correction. Wouldn't be surprised to see it keep going up due to the nature of the big picture trend on gold, which is extremely bullish. If you guys don't know, look at gold on macrotrends.net, which is a pretty awesome website for looking at this stuff. Look how big the gold uptrend is since the 1920s. I wouldn't try to call a top on that. That is massive. If you adjust for inflation, we just broke out of a big cup and handle pattern on gold, and we haven't even gone anywhere near the target for this cup and handle pattern on gold. Although I think it could correct in the short term and some money could move over to Bitcoin, gold's uptrend probably isn't topping anytime soon. William Harvey says, good to see you today. My thoughts are, if it's bleeding back up the truck and load up and get as much as you possibly can, everything is on sale. That is true. Everything is on sale, including, by the way, my VIP programs, one-on-one coaching and lifetime coaching. I have a Black Friday sale running until next week. 50% off all VIP products, so it's really the only opportunity where you could get lifetime or one-on-one coaching at this discount till next year. So make sure you take advantage of that while you can. hurry and get it in. One-on-one coaching, I don't have a lot of slots. So if you want to do coaching with me one-on-one, you got to make sure you buy before that ends, because it will end soon. Many are getting confused about whether we are in denial or depression of the cycle. Whenever you have a high degree of market uncertainty, it's usually a bottom. So there we go. So market uncertainty is a bottom, not a top. Everybody thinks it's just going to keep going up in tops. That's the rule of thumb, is during a top in the market, everybody's bullish. Everybody thinks it's going to keep going up. During market uncertainty, where nobody's for sure, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of people saying one thing, a lot of people saying another thing. That's when the market is going to bottom out most of the time. Back over to Bitcoin, you guys. If you look at Bitcoin on Coinbase here, Bitcoin on Coinbase, back to the daily candlesticks, what I was talking about at the start of the stream. Bitcoin has never been this oversold on the MACD ever on the daily, which is a really good entry signal. And we are extremely oversold on the RSI. Last time we were this oversold was our bottom at 79K and our bottom at 50K. Miguel says, are we in a bear market now? No. We're not. If you want to understand the basics of Bitcoin, understand Bitcoin has corrections over and over and over again. If you look at Bitcoin in the big picture, and by the way, I should know this because I bought my first Bitcoin in 2015. And by the way, when it was worth under $200, I basically nailed this bottom of this panic sell right here on accident. And I had been watching Bitcoin since 2014, but I watched this thing. You have no idea how many times I've seen people say Bitcoin was dead. And guess what? Bitcoin has had short-term bear markets. There's been about a 1 year long bear market in 2018, 2022, 2014, right? A bit of a bear market here in 2011 as well. You could call those bear markets. You know, they were long enough, they were big enough, they were a bear market. But if you're looking at Bitcoin in the big picture, this thing is a bull market. The trend is up, and it's been up for a long time. It's not... The thing is the people that lost on this uptrend right here were the people that panic sold. They were the people that believed the FUD. They were the people that read all the news articles that were saying, everybody's selling. It's the same story every time. It's always, this super important, influential person that's supposed to be like some idol sold their Bitcoin. It must be the top of the market, and it's always at the bottom of the market. If you go look at this right now, look, Bitcoin news. Okay. I don't trade news, but veteran trader Peter Brandt sounds alarm. Cryptocurrency Bitcoin price at 60,000 could send BTC traders. JP Morgan warns MicroStrategy delisting risk. Bitcoin continues to slide. That's rolling markets threaten to break below 80,000. This is all FUD. There isn't a single positive article here. BlackRock clients dump Bitcoin. Investors pull $52 million from BlackRock's. This is the same type of stuff I've seen at every single market bottom since I've been doing this in this market. It's crazy to see the same stuff happen. The same whale tricks. These big players, these whales, make it look as if there is no possible way that a bull market's going to come. They make it look as if every single thing possible is going wrong and that the market has clearly topped out and that we're going to go for a big bear market. And it always, always, always happens at market bottoms. The same psychology happens every time. And to get people to believe this is virtually impossible because they all are swayed by the crowds. Everybody is swayed by the opinions of other people. They don't think for themselves. They don't look at this chart from a very level-headed, logical perspective. So if there was ever a time to be excited, to be realizing the potential that crypto has to change your life, to be realizing how crypto could literally take you and turn you into a millionaire, it's right now. Look at this, you guys. Check this out. Let's take a look at, for example, I don't know. Let's pull up Litecoin, okay? Let's turn Litecoin on here. Let's switch to the linear chart rather than the logarithmic chart. And we'll take a look at the price of Litecoin here, okay? And let's just measure from right here. Okay, we had a bull market back in 2021. The price of Litecoin hit $417. Has Litecoin seen a bull market since? We're down right now. We're down significantly from our peak. We're still undervalued on Litecoin. Litecoin has not had a run. Okay, let's go look at another example. Okay, anything will work. Let's pull up literally any of these altcoins will work. Let's check out Stark Finance, okay? Has this seen a bull market? No, yeah, it pumped a little bit here when it first got added to Binance. Okay, we'll give it that. Has this been in a bull market yet, though? No, it hasn't. Really, the only coins that have shown like real strength, and XRP is pulled back a little bit recently, but XRP showed some serious strength right here in 2024 as it broke out from 52 cents up to $3.64 up here at the local peak. Okay, this is a bit of a bull market, the beginning of one for XRP. Let's check out Zcash too. Zcash is the other one. Shout out to my VIP members. You guys know I posted a signal for Zcash down here at $42 right before it went all the way to the moon. Okay. Zcash, it's seen a bit of a bull market. We'll give Zcash a bull market here. But look how long it was in a bear market before that happened. This thing had been going down since 2021, in the middle of 2021. So you're talking about 1, 2, 3, basically 4 years of solid downward trending bearishness here on Zcash before we finally broke out for this pump right here. So the reason I'm bringing this up is really because Bitcoin may have seen a run recently up to 126,000 before it crashed, before we pulled back down to where we're at right now. But the altcoin bull market hasn't happened yet. And if you go back over to the Bitcoin dominance, and I know people are like, well, it's too late now. It's never going to happen. 4-year cycle's over. People are trying to say that, but the fact of the matter is charts don't lie. Charts never lie. They tell you the data of the market. They tell you actually what's happened from a data perspective. And this right here is reason to be excited, not fearful. Not bearish, not fearful. This right here is we're breaking bearish out of this rising wedge on Bitcoin dominance. This signals alt season. We have alt season here. We have alt season right here. And we're set up for alt season again. It's not over, you guys. This is the whale's way. They know what's about to happen. Go look at Stark Finance, okay? STRK. I believe that's how you I'm pretty sure it's Stark Finance. I always forget. There's so many coins to remember, whether it's finance or whatever. Starknet, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, Starknet. Look at this coin, okay? The big whales, the big big whales, they know what's about to happen. They wouldn't there wouldn't be 5.43 billion Starknet tokens traded right here if they didn't know what was about to happen. The whales, they know that this thing's about to do a Zcash run. I'm serious. STRK. I'll just give this for free for you guys. This coin is about to do a Zcash run. They know that. The big whales know that. They're piling all of their Bitcoin into stuff like this right now. They know that we're about to have one of the biggest altcoin bull markets in the history of crypto ever. So what do? They make everybody sell. They freak them all out that there's a big bear market coming. They all freak out. They sell all their Bitcoin. They sell all their altcoins. If you go look, everybody's panicking into the USDT and USDC. You even see some of these stable coins are like up a little bit. True USD is like up 0.06%, you know, because people are panic selling their crypto into these stable coins. That's what they're doing right now. They're freaking out and they're buying stable coins because they're afraid. And the big whales know exactly what they're doing. They're literally shaking out everybody, including all of the big crypto accounts. If you go look at all of the big crypto guys, like I said, except for maybe Altcoin Daily, who I believe is still bullish from what I can see. I only saw one of his posts. But I went last night over 30, like seriously, all these different accounts, trying to find who is bearish, who is bullish. I couldn't find anybody except for Altcoin Daily that was still bullish in this market. Everybody's bearish. But you know what's funny? When I'd watch their videos, when I'd watch their live streams, you know what they were saying? They were saying that everybody's bullish. And I was like, you guys, you're so dumb. You can't just say that when you're like all 30 of you are all making videos or live streams about the market going down. You can't just say everybody's bullish. Nobody's bullish. There's like 2 people left that are still bullish in this market, you know? So it blows my mind. The big whales, they know we're about to have the biggest altcoin season in history. Everything everybody's been waiting for is about to happen. Why do you think it had to get so bad? It had to get like this. This had to happen. We had to shake everybody out of the market. We had to freak everybody out. Now we can do what everybody's been waiting for. Now that nobody thinks it's going to happen, now that everybody's given up on alt season, now that everybody's saying this is the top of the cycle, which is what everybody's actually saying, not just what people are saying, what people are saying. This is what everybody's actually saying. Everybody's actually calling a top. Everybody's actually calling for a bear market. I'm telling you, I went through all of the biggest accounts on YouTube last night. The big ones. They're all calling for a top. I saw maybe one person that wasn't. So everybody's trying to call for a top. They're calling for the bear. Now that nobody thinks that we're going to have that big glorious run on altcoins, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen. I have no doubt in my mind we will have a big alt season. I'm completely confident. I'm betting everything I own on it. Risking my entire YouTube channel's reputation. You know, I'm risking everything. I don't care because I'm so confident that this is going to go crazy. I'll risk it all. I don't care. I'm willing to be looked at as completely dumb, and I'm willing to be thought of as lost my mind. I'm willing to be viewed as in a very negative light because of the fact that I firmly believe that we are going to have a big altcoin bull market. It's going to change people's lives. I'm willing to risk everything. And right now, people might think I'm dumb. People might think I'm crazy. People might think that I've lost my marbles, but I don't care what you guys think. If I cared what you guys thought, I would have quit this YouTube channel a long time ago, because it's crazy how many times during market bottoms especially. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't called every market top, but I have every single market bottom. I never flipped bearish. Ever. I've been really good about keeping a level head during the times of fear when the opportunity was the highest, right before the biggest, most profitable, glorious runs happened in this market. I've been really good about that. And I have called some tops too. In 2017, I called some tops. Not the top of the entire market at that time, at the 2017 top. But before that point, there was multiple tops I called, short-term tops. So I've done okay as far as that goes. But where I've especially shined on this channel is market bottoms. Every time everybody's super bearish and they're all freaking out, for some reason it becomes as clear as the sun rising in the morning that the market is going to bottom during those periods. For me, it becomes extremely apparent and easy for me to see. And that's probably one of the most valuable skills you can have, because, by the way, like I started this whole live stream out, the entire point of one of my main points at the beginning of this live stream was that if you go to the logarithmic chart and you were a complete Deegan idiot, total bull, total noob, I'm telling you, bears sound smart, bulls make money. Okay? If you were a total noob, that's why I always tell people, dumb bulls make more money than intelligent bears. You could have a bear that has 146 IQ, super smart kind of guy. He's going to lose money. He's going to get screwed in the market, because guess what? The bear markets are shorter than the bull markets, and the bull markets, the bear market is the exception, not the rule. The rule is the bull market. Look at Bitcoin. This thing has been in an uptrend, not a downtrend. It's been in an uptrend. Yeah, there is opportunity to make money shorting the market, not necessarily at this exact moment. You'd have to be pretty dumb to short after a crash like this. But I'm telling you guys, if you are a complete idiot, total dummy, just worst trader ever, and you FOMO bought Bitcoin here at $30, then you FOMO bought Bitcoin here at $1,100, then you FOMO bought Bitcoin at $20,000, but you were smart enough not to sell, if you had that type of market resilience that really creates a professional trader and investor, and that kind of patience that creates a professional trader and investor, you could have FOMO bought 69K and you'd still be up right now. That's what I'm telling you. So this principle is so powerful to understand about these markets. The bear market is the rule. You don't lose money until you sell. You could be a total dumb, total idiot bull that buys all of the tops, but if you keep holding on, you're going to end up in profit. And by the way, eventually the same will be true for Ethereum. If we look at Ethereum on Coinbase, right now we're down a little bit from our peak over here, but eventually we'll get back up above our peak up here at 4,800 per coin. And when we do, even the idiots that bought up here at 4,800 per coin and went all in instead of buying down here like they should have been, even those guys will be up if they don't sell. But the people that will lose this market are the people that sell. That's just the truth. 3 Diglets donated $10 and says, "Thank you for your videos, High Altitude Investing. I don't think you're crazy, but I think that the party's over. XRP is dead." I appreciate the donation. Thank you for that, man. And I appreciate the fact that you don't think I'm crazy either. But I don't think XRP is dead. I highly doubt XRP is dead. In fact, I'll be honest with you. Every time I've ever heard somebody call anything dead in this market, it was a bottom. Every single time they called Bitcoin dead, it was a market bottom. Every time they've ever called XRP. You know what was funny? When I was bullish on XRP right here, before we pumped all the way up to $3.67, you know what everybody was saying on X? They were all saying that XRP was dead. Right here. So for me, when I hear somebody say XRP is dead, I'm not bearish when people talk like that. If anything, I'm extra bullish when people talk like that. So it's just my view. Take it or leave it, but I'm still bullish on XRP. Lego King is cool, says Dogecoin 420. Thanks for being a real one. I appreciate you not coping. Thanks. So it's really over. Got it. Oh, it's because he's a troll in the chat. Yeah, we get those sometimes. Satoshi says retail holding the bag. Actually, retail isn't holding their bags. Retail is all out of this market. They've been getting wrecked since 2021. You know what happened in 2021, you guys? I'll tell you what happened. Big institutions started getting interested in crypto in 2017, but big institutions positioned themselves in 2022, right after 2021. This is where big institutions positioned themselves, and they have been screwing retail this entire time. And now guess what? They're screwing retail again. They have everybody convinced that this market is topped out. They have everybody convinced that the altcoin bull market is never coming. They have everybody convinced that XRP, that Dogecoin, that all this stuff is going to go for a big 4-year bear market when that's what they just did. Whether you're talking about the immediate correction that happened since our peak at the end of the year in 2024, or you're talking about the bigger correction that happened on altcoins from our peak in 2021, fact of the matter is retail is not in this market. Retail has been getting screwed up and down and left and right since the big institutions have been positioning themselves, which the FTX crash gave them a perfect opportunity to buy billions of dollars in Bitcoin, to buy billions of dollars of altcoins for the past 4 years as they've been correcting since our peak in 2021. Big institutions have been positioning themselves and completely wrecking retail. Now the big institutions are going to reap the results of all of their accumulation as much as they're trying to paint a picture of it being done. The big institutions are going to reap a result of all of their accumulation as Bitcoin breaks out again, as the altcoin markets break out again, and actually break out again like how retail wants it to now that retail is out of the market. But the fact of the matter is they've been positioning themselves for an extremely profitable, lucrative run in this market. The big institutions know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to make a lot of money. And you can see this. This is what's happening. What's crazy is you have all this FUD. Like I said, the news articles, you go read every single news article is bearish. Every single news company is bearish. And they're, CNBC, all that stuff. They're all bearish, right? But what's crazy is we have stuff like Telcoin getting actual regulatory advancement proving that big institutions are not done with crypto. Big institutions are not done with crypto. Big institutions don't put billions of dollars into stuff just to lose money. They know what they're doing. They don't set themselves up for failure. And even though it makes it look like the big institutions are selling, BlackRock dumps, Grayscale, BlackRock, all these companies are all dumping their crypto. That doesn't mean they can't buy other stuff. That doesn't mean they can't buy altcoins with their Bitcoin they're dumping. Why do you think they're dumping their Bitcoin? It's to buy altcoins. You can go look at the Bitcoin dominance chart and it will tell you what the big whales are doing. They're dumping their Bitcoin to buy altcoins. That's what they're doing. And it doesn't matter what you believe about all this stuff that's happening in the world, all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is being spread about these markets. The fact of the matter is big institutions are going to pump the living heck out of the altcoin markets and Bitcoin too. It's just up to you whether you want to ride it or whether you want to panic sell now because of everybody's fear, because everybody is fearful. Like I said at the beginning of this stream, this specific fear and greed index on alternative.me shows that we're at a negative 11 yesterday and a negative 14 extreme fear. But actually, there's other versions of the fear and greed index that is showing us that we are lower, that there's more fear in the market right now than there was at the absolute bottom of the FTX crash in 2022, when Bitcoin was worth $15,000 and everybody was afraid of even more downside in the Bitcoin markets and the crypto markets. There is more fear now than there was here. That tells me that we are ready to go parabolic. Bitcoin has not gone parabolic since 2021. This right here is what parabolic looks like. Do you see how vertical that move was in 2017? Or how about how vertical this move was in 2021 as the money printer went, and printed money like crazy during COVID. Look how parabolic that was, okay, in 2021. How parabolic that was in 2017. This right here is not parabolic. That's uptrend accumulation. That's like what happened right here in 2016. That's why I posted on my X account. If you guys don't follow me on X, make sure you go follow me on X. That's why I posted on my X account and said, you guys, Bitcoin reminds me more of 2016 than anything else. Bitcoin reminds me more of 2016 than anything else. It has not gone parabolic like it did in 2017, hasn't gone parabolic like it did in 2021. But it has done what it did in 2016, which is steadily trend up at a very healthy rate of growth with corrections. We haven't gone parabolic. We haven't gone to an unsustainable type of vertical growth. You can see it in the chart. If we were vertical, if we were parabolic, if we were like we were in 2021 right here, or in 2017, the chart would look parabolic. But it doesn't. It looks like it did here in 2016 on Bitcoin. That tells me that we still have to do the big institutional run where the big institutions make all the money that they've been planning to make, that they've been wanting to make. That tells me that the big institutions have not taken profits. I know it looks like it because of the news articles and the FUD and everything that they're trying to convince you that they have. Of course they are. You really think they're going to make it look like the market's going to go up right before they have their big run when all retail FOMO buys back into the market at all-time highs? No, they're going to make it look like it's over, like it's done. Like there's no way it's going to recover, like this is the beginning of the end. That's what they're going to make it look like. These guys are smart. It's pure fear, not a bear market. Yeah, I agree 100%. Gas Trader says when. You guys, Bitcoin is ready to reverse. I have no doubt in my mind that sooner rather than later, Bitcoin will see a reversal. Let's hop over to the daily, or let's do the 45-minute here. This thing's looking pretty good down here. We are extremely oversold on the MACD, very oversold on the RSI, starting to come up a little bit off of that bottom. If we go to the daily, we've never been this oversold on the MACD in the history of Bitcoin ever, which is a huge buy signal. We're extremely oversold on the RSI right now for Bitcoin. This is a perfect example of a good entry for Bitcoin. This is a good time to buy, not to sell. I know people are calling for 40K right now. This is kind of the magic zone that everybody's been calling for. Do you guys remember in 2024, maybe you've been following me long enough, to remember this. But in 2024, when Bitcoin came from 74,000 down to 50,000 right here, guess what everybody was calling for? 30K. Guess what never happened? 30K. But that's what everybody was calling for, was 30K per Bitcoin. And it never happened. Ever. You know why? Because guess what? What everybody thinks is going to happen is not going to happen. And everybody right now thinks the market is headed into a bear market. Like I said, last night I went through all of the top YouTuber accounts, all of the top X accounts about crypto. Every single one is bearish. I saw Altcoin Daily post a bullish thing. He's one person that was bullish. And I did see Haejin Lee on X. Haejin Lee is pretty smart. He might be bearish now. I don't know. People switch really fast. But Haejin Lee is also bullish in this market. And he's an OG in this space. He's been doing Elliott Wave on the crypto markets for a long time. So I found two accounts that were bullish. But everybody else, the other 30 or whatever amount of accounts that I was looking through, every single one was calling for a bear market, and every single one was calling for 40,000 per coin. So it's not going to happen. We're not going to get down there. I'm telling you right now, Bitcoin will not go down to 40,000 per coin when everybody's calling for it. What it will probably do is go up to 250,000 per coin. Keep your head on straight, you guys. I know it's tempting to sell. I know it's tempting to be a bear. I know it's easy to be a bear. But seriously, you guys, it's not worth it to be bearish on this market when it's set up to pump. Do things have to go parabolic? I feel a lot of people are waiting for that parabolic movement, but Bitcoin looks like it's gone up enough. From the low of December 22, it looks like it's gone up a lot. Thanks again for the donation. I genuinely appreciate that. Does the market have to go parabolic? For a market top and all-time high, for the beginning of a massive multi-year bear market, yeah, it has to go parabolic. That's what creates a bear market, is unsustainable growth. Sustainable growth does not create a bear market. Unsustainable growth creates a bear market. This was unsustainable. You can see this was unsustainable. This is extremely sustainable growth. This is institutional accumulation over time. That's sustainable growth in the market. You have to go into a phase of mania, of euphoria, of unsustainability in order for the market to see a bear market. For a true bear market to happen, you have to go into an unsustainable growth curve. So yeah, it really does have to see a parabolic run before a bear market can happen. Zcash chart looks like T-Fuel. I haven't seen that comparison. I'd have to look to see that comparison, Robert Richards. If you guys want to buy a coin that's going to do a Zcash run, go buy STRK. Okay, I'm just giving this for free. I'm feeling generous today. I want you guys to make some money. I know you guys might be kind of down on your portfolios. First of all, I want to repeat what I said earlier. It's not a loss until you sell. It's an unrealized loss. Dumb bulls make more money than smart bears. People that hold on, people that have patience, even people that buy the exact top of an entire bull market, if they hold on and they have the patience, they're going to make more money than intelligent bears will. So dumb bulls make more money than intelligent bears. Again, it's not a realized loss until you sell. It's an unrealized loss. You can come back from it. You can get in the green. If you guys want to buy a coin that's about to do a Zcash run, go buy STRK. This thing is about to do what Zcash did. If you guys don't know, I'm going to brag a little bit about myself. I know I probably shouldn't. People don't like to hear people talk like this. But I'm 28 years old and I've been doing this for a long time. So at this point, I have an exception. I can brag about myself a little bit. I did call the bottom on Zcash before it went to the moon. The same, by the way, this coin is set up to do the same thing that Zcash did. STRK is about to do a Zcash run, and I'll call it right now. This coin is going to do a Zcash run. So yeah, Zcash was a huge profitable move in our VIP area, called the exact bottom at $46, pretty much the exact bottom, and it went all the way to where it's at right now. Huge, massive, profitable, exciting run on Zcash, okay? STRK is about to do the same thing. If you guys want to try to recover from your losses, go dump a bunch of money into this coin. Yeah, big contrarian is high IQ, to be honest. High altitude investing. Yeah, if you want to, you know what WD Gann said? WD Gann, do opposite of the crowd quote. Let's see which, I don't remember exactly how he worded it. WD Gann was a successful, he made millions and millions of dollars in the stock market. And we're talking in like the 1900s when millions of dollars was worth billions today. Like he made like 100 million or something like that. Let's look it up. How much money did WD Gann make in the stock market? This guy was a genius. He made over $50 million in his trading career in the stock market. And you're talking about a man that was making money in the like early 1900s. He died in 1950. WD Gann did. This is where you get like the Gann fan and the Gann fan or Gann. Some people say it differently. I actually don't know what the correct pronunciation is. But if you look at the, where is it? Yeah, like the Gann box, the Gann square, the Gann fan, these tools that are built into TradingView, this guy invented them. He made over $50 million in the stock market, but we're talking about in the early 1900s. And by the way, that's like probably like almost $1 billion in today's money off trading and investing. Okay, that's pretty dang impressive for this WD Gann. Okay, he was a pretty cool guy. He was a Freemason, really cool guy. Anyways, so the point of the matter is that he said a successful trader studies human nature and does opposite of what the general public does. Human psychology and contrarianism. And I'm telling you right now, I'll bring up this point for the third or fourth time in today's live stream. Last night when I got on YouTube and when I got on X, I tried to get an estimation of who is bullish and who is bearish. And everybody was bearish. I found two people, one person on YouTube, Altcoin Daily, I believe, is still bullish. It's hard for me to tell exactly. Some of his posts, seems like a little bit mixed. And Hagen Lee, at least right now, as far as I can tell, is still bullish. 95, 98% of all the other people, all of the other big accounts that I was looking at were all calling for a bear market on crypto. Dogecoin is all right. You know, I actually love Dogecoin, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a big Dogecoin nerd. I like Dogecoin more than I like Bitcoin, to be frankly honest with you guys. It's one of my favorite coins. I love Dogecoin. I'm a big Dogecoin guy, and it's going to do a run. I really believe it will do a run. We could easily double bottom here. On Binance, it did a wick right here. So if we go to Doge, on Binance, let's go to Doge on Binance here. You can see on Binance we had a bit of a wick right here. Right? We already had our panic sell. So some people are like, oh, well, isn't this breaking bearish out of a falling wedge? You guys, it already broke bearish out of a falling wedge and saw a huge panic sell all the way down to 0.089. Like, how low do you think it's going to go? We already shook everybody out. We already did our bear move for the for the for the bear flag here. We already did the move. And you know, it already saw the dump that we were looking for. See, it hit the target pretty much of the bear flag. So to me, we've already done that. We already did the bear flag. It's not like it's going to happen now that it's already done. You know? So yeah, I'm a big Dogecoin bull. But let's hop on AVAX here. Dang, man. Thank you so much, 3 Diglets. You have been so generous today. I appreciate all these donations. Let's pull up Avalanche here, okay? AVAX. You want to know my honest thoughts on AVAX? It's going to 0. No, I'm just kidding. You know my honest thoughts on Bitcoin, you guys? It's going to go to $0 per coin. It's all over. The Bitcoin bull market, these dumb crypto people. Can't believe that there's, can't believe all these crypto people are so dumb. It's all going to go to 0. That's what people sound like right now. No, my honest thoughts on AVAX. You want to know my honest thoughts on AVAX? Let's pull up AVAX and let's check out a classic market cycle, because that's what this is. AVAX is a perfectly classic market cycle. Let's do Bitcoin, okay? I could show you example after example of what a market cycle looks like. Let's start with Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin in 2017 and 2018, 2019, and 2020, okay? And let's pull up our Bitcoin chart on the 8-day candlestick, so we have a very similar time scale. And let's zoom out right here a little bit. Okay. This is my thoughts on AVAX. AVAX is in the disbelief phase of the market cycle. Disbelief. Oh, typing faster than I should. Missing. There we go. It's in the disbelief phase of the cycle, just like how Bitcoin was during March of 2020 when everybody panic sold their Bitcoin down here at 3,900 per coin. Before Bitcoin went to 69,000 and actually went parabolic and actually saw a big euphoric run. Okay? That's where AVAX is right now in its cycle. This is the same psychology. The same market psychology. It's no surprise to me. This is not any type of a surprise to know that everybody's bearish right now in the markets. I'm not surprised. In fact, I would be more surprised if everybody was bullish because of the point in the cycle. This is the disbelief phase of the cycle on AVAX. What does that mean? What if we break that down? What should that mean? When I say it's the disbelief phase of the cycle, what does that mean? That tells me that 90% of investors are in a state of disbelief that the market will turn around. 90% of people are in a state of disbelief right here. They don't think this is going to happen. This is the furthest thing from their consciousness. This idea of a big bull market on altcoins, that is the furthest thing from the consciousness of 95%, 90% of people in crypto. But that's what's going to happen. I firmly believe it. And by the way, check this out. Okay, let's remove our drawing tools here. It's not just Bitcoin. Check this out, okay? Let's pull up the NASDAQ composite. Where have we seen this before? It's almost like the entire US stock market did the same fractal of human psychology during the internet bubble. And then 2008 and 2009. It's almost like the same story is playing out in this market all over again. Because it is. Now, can you imagine trying to convince people? Let's pretend that you're me and you're sitting in front of your computer screen with a microphone and a silly hat on that you have to wear now because everybody says that you have to wear it because that's what you start doing when you first start your channel. I actually love my hat. I'm just being a troll. But pretend that you're in front of your computer screen, Kate, but this is 2009 and you're an internet bubble. You're part of the internet bubble and you're trying to convince your followers to buy in 2009. Right here at the very peak bottom of the housing market crash. Do you think there were bullish news articles about the stock market in 2009? No. The news articles would have looked like this. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF sees 523 million in outflow. The news articles would have been real estate market crash, credit default swaps. The market is never going to recover. Is this the beginning of a massive multi-year depression? That's what the articles would have been telling people in 2009 right here. Can you imagine trying to convince people that we were going to have this happen to the U.S. stock market in 2009? Not easy to do. Very, very, very hard to do that. That's why I try not to convince. I just try to show you guys what I see in the charts, because as much as I try to convince you, at the end of the day, people make decisions based on emotion. And if your emotions are more favorable to being bearish because of news, because of, who you follow or whatever, then it's pretty hard to try to convince you. But I can tell you what I see, and hopefully that can generate some degree, some seed, some spark of emotion in you that will help you consider a different perspective in the market. And that's my view on AVAX. I do believe AVAX will not only do what the NASDAQ composite did from 2009 until today with a big parabolic run, but also what Bitcoin did from 2020 until its peak in 2021. Look at that. I'm telling you guys, if you want an easy guaranteed bet, go buy a bunch of AVAX and hold on to this thing. Buy a bunch of AVAX. Or if you want to have a run like Zcash, even though AVAX will do a run kind of like Zcash too, both are really good buys. If I had two entries for you guys today, okay, I'll just give them away for free. STRK and AVAX. These are the two coins that if I had, let's say I was trying to put 30,000 in or 100,000 in or 10,000 in, or maybe your smaller account, maybe you will have $500 to invest. Right now, trying to decide where to put my money, I'd put it in these two coins. I might even buy a little bit of Rap Dog for fun, just like a little bit, because of the percentage gains. Probably would buy some of the other bigger coins like Litecoin and Theta, coins that I have strong beliefs in the runs that are coming for those coins. Nothing has changed. All the stuff I've been talking about for X amount of days now, that I sound like a broken record because, by the way, truth doesn't change. So of course I'm going to be talking about the same things over and over and over again. Nothing's changed. Look at Nvidia. Okay? Check this thing out. And Litecoin. My fractal that I've been telling people that Litecoin is a multi-year, 8-year-long institutional accumulation here, just like what happened to Nvidia, still true today. NVIDIA had some spooks. Look how big this crash was right here. This reminds me a lot of this stuff going on right here. It's just not quite as big on Litecoin as it was on NVIDIA, but it's the same kind of stuff. Before a big run happens, people selling, people forgetting the context of the cycle, people forgetting where they're at. Look at the volume here on NVIDIA. Look at the volume on Litecoin. Same thing. Big institutions accumulating massive amounts of this stock called NVIDIA before it became a big household name and ran all the way to the moon. They're doing the same thing with crypto right now. No matter what news article will try to tell you differently, this is what the big whales are doing. They're not dumping their crypto. You might think so because you see BlackRock or you see, Grayscale. You might think or you hear, oh, Bitcoin OG that's been in Bitcoin since whatever, sold all of his Bitcoin. You might be buying into all of these narratives about the market going down. Fact of the matter is, nothing has changed. Chew. Apparently I had to sneeze. Nothing has changed, you guys. Same story. Same thing. I don't see this market as being any different than before Bitcoin fell to 80K. It's the same thing. You can see it in the charts. What's going to happen is going to be glorious. It's going to be profitable. It's going to be fun. This is what the charts are showing us. We are ready for a big parabolic run in the big picture on altcoins and on Bitcoin too. I'm still a super big Bitcoin bull. I'm just trying to be realistic here about where you're going to make your most money. And the fact of the matter is if Bitcoin dominance is dropping right now and rejecting out of a rising wedge pattern, altcoins are going to give you more money than Bitcoin will. So that was COVID, he said. What makes people think that we aren't just going to start printing more money again? That's all we've been doing. Just because, people are talking about interest rates and Fed and all this stuff. What makes you think that out of the split, in the blink of an eye, that we just don't just start printing more money again and inject billions of dollars of liquidity into this market? What makes you guys think that's just not going to happen again? It's happened every time. Every time the economy's crashing, every time people are afraid, they inject billions of dollars into the market. And so, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, is that possible for that to happen again? 100% it's possible for that to happen again. Of course it's possible for that to happen again. That's actually it's been more common that we do that than we don't. This entire economy, the thing is this economy is held up by printing money. We live in a money printer economy right now. That's why the financial industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the entire world, because we live in a money printer economy. It's not going to change overnight. And I see in the foreseeable future us printing more money. I wouldn't be surprised at all, too, to see the tariff bill passed, to see people get a whole bunch of money from tariffs to give to the people. I haven't checked up on it recently to see if it's passed or not. I don't know the details. I need to go look. Fact of the matter is we live in a money printer economy. We're not just going to stop printing. So, anyways, I'm still bullish. Big things coming on altcoins. Big things coming in the market. Bitcoin will still see a parabolic run. I really believe that. Altcoins are going to see a bigger parabolic run because of alt season, which we're set up to have happen. Stop looking at the news articles. Stop looking at the 4-year cycle. Stop looking at all of the things that people are using to justify their selling. even if you are a 4-year cycle believer, we still have an entire month of 2025. And by the way, in 2020 or in 2018, some of those coins didn't top out until February in 2018. There's still room, even if you are a 4-year cycle guy, there's still room for us to inject billions of dollars of liquidity, to have a massive parabolic run in altcoins, for everything to have true euphoria, true parabolic movement, true pre-bear market characteristics. We have been seeing sustainable growth on Bitcoin since our bottom in 2023. We haven't seen unsustainable growth in Bitcoin or altcoins. So that's my view on the market. Bitcoin's looking good right now. Who knows if this is the exact bottom? I'm not going to try to call it because I already tried to a couple times and it kept bleeding. But it will happen soon. And even from an Elliott wave perspective, you guys, look at this thing on the 2-hour perspective here. This is an ABC corrective structure, and I'm already an hour and 17, so I don't want to keep going too long, but I'll just go a little bit longer here. This is a zigzag ABC correction. We have our A wave here, our B wave here, and our C wave here. This is a zigzag ABC. If we take our Elliott waves, we're supposed to be able to count from this point right here at the top to the bottom of wave A. We're supposed to be able to count a 5-wave impulse. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So far, so good. Now from A to B, we're supposed to be able to count an ABC corrective wave up. So let's see here. A, B, and C. Perfect. Let's drop to a submicro. Now from B to C, we're supposed to be able to count a 5-wave impulse down. So let's take our tool here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an extended 5th wave too down here. So extended 5th waves lead to, in a bull market, an extended 5th wave is unsustainable. It leads to an extended correction. In a correction, if you have an extended 5th wave in a correction, that means it's unsustainable on the downside, and it's going to lead to a bullish move. This is an extended 5th wave from our 4-wave here down to our 5-wave here. This is unsustainable downward movement. It has to have a bounce. And I think that bounce will not only be a bounce, but a bottom. And where it happens, I'm not going to try to call the exact bottom. It could be today. But the fact of the matter is, from 4 to 5, this is unsustainable. This is an extended 5th wave. It's unsustainable, just like an extended 5th wave in a bull market, which leads to an extended correction because that 5th wave is unsustainable. In a correction, in a downward move, if you have an extended 5th wave, it's going to lead to a recovery because it's unsustainable on the downside. You guys get the point. So anyways, that's my view on the market. Keep your faith, keep your hope. My advice for you guys is to make sure that you don't panic sell your crypto, to make sure that you don't listen to the majority, to make sure that you listen to this guy who made $50 million trading in the stock market in the early 1900s, which was who knows how much by today's value, that said a successful trader studies human nature and does opposite of what the public does. This is no different than what Warren Buffett said when he said, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. This is the same quote, and it's said by a different person. But it's the same idea, the same concept. People are in a state of extreme fear right now. Yesterday we were at 11 on the fear and greed. This is not a time to be bearish. It's a time to be a bull in these markets. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos and in future live streams. I'm looking forward to the future of crypto. All your favorite altcoins, Theta, Stark, STRK, AVAX. Even Bitcoin is going to go up, even though Bitcoin dominance looks like it's going to fall off a cliff. That's what happens in alt season. Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin dominance falls off a cliff because altcoins are going up faster than Bitcoin is. That's the type of unsustainable retail FOMO that leads to a true bear market, and we haven't seen it yet. Not because it won't happen, but because we had to shake everybody out before it did. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm excited about the future, and I'll see you guys in future videos and future live streams. And as always, stay profitable out there.